Well, it started. I've battled depression for years. I've been hospitalized a couple of times. Most recently, it was a little over a year ago, and I had just hit the wall. I was done fighting battles that I couldn't win, or I felt like I couldn't win, and I took some sleeping pills, and I went over to the Third Avenue Bridge, and I climbed over the bridge, and I thinking the sleeping pills would have been what I needed to have the guts to let go, and I still froze. Next thing I know, I'm getting tackled, pulled back over by a Minneapolis police officer, and brought down here. I spent quite a bit of time inpatient. Started ECT treatments, which was a pretty scary experience in itself, especially at first. Because you think of the old movie in the 60s and 70s where you see them taking the paddles and shocking you and stuff, and how inhumane it seemed. And I was really afraid that, current times, it hadn't changed much. Well, come to find out, it's not that bad. I mean, it still takes a lot out of you. It takes a toll on your body. But through that, and then through the day, I did a partial hospital program. And now I'm here in day treatment. Got about 4 months under my belt. Been making some really big strides, I feel. So I'm excited about what the future brings now for the first time in a long time. ECT, well, basically, I mean, you're in bed, they start a little IV on you, they wheel you into the procedure room, they give you a little medication, some medications, you go right to sleep, you don't even feel anything. They do the treatment, you're usually only out about maybe 25 minutes to a half hour. When you come out, you're generally pretty groggy. They hold you in a ECT suite, which is a place where, it's just kind of a lounge area where they have some cookies and some fruit and some water and stuff like that. And they monitor your vital signs for an hour and a half prior to letting you go. Sometimes there is some short-term memory loss, and everybody is different, so they're gonna, their response to that treatment's gonna be a little bit different. But for the most part, it's calm. You may experience some muscle soreness because it does induce a seizure, which causes all your muscles to constrict, and you might have a little bit of a headache. It's helped me to get the new energy I need in my life. It's a gradual process. I started out doing it twice a week. Now I'm doing it once every 3 weeks. So it's quite, it's a process that there is an end to it. It's like any other thing with medicine. You have to maintain, and you have to keep working at it. From personal experience, I think it's the most important thing in the world is, being able to always have a resource and always have that place to go where if you need it, you can find the help. You encourage them to stick with the program, and I can only preach or talk about my successes, but I encourage them to stick with the program. There's people that feel like they're not getting anywhere, but really, in reality, if you think about it, just by coming here every day, they're making a step. They're taking the steps that are needed to improve their mental health. They may not see the huge improvements over a short time, but just by sticking with it, it helps. I know that as hard as it is, it'll only be a short-term problem, and I can work I've learned some of the skills that are needed to work through these problems on my own. And I've also learned to open up and ask for help when I need it. From the beginning of my treatment process, I had this, I can do it all attitude, and I can do it all on my own. I don't need anybody. And what it's come to be is, I realize that reaching out and asking for help is necessary. I mean, because no one person can get things done on their own. Through the occupational therapy program here, I've started to pick up some little hobbies and stuff like that, and looking at ways to hopefully carry them on outside of the hospital setting. Stuff that I can do at home to be continue to be productive and get a little reward out of it too by completing a project and having it turn out the way I want. And I definitely think that skills groups it'll develop a positive attitude for the patient as they're getting ready to move forward. They'll start to feel more comfortable and see that they have the talent and the skills to be able to go out and be productive in society. And as they learn that, their self-confidence is going to increase. And then when their self-confidence increases, that's where personally I noticed my biggest strides were being able to be made when I started to feel more confident with myself. And that's been great for me. Between the Nice Ride and then I picked up a gym membership in this, and what it has done is it gives me an outlet for the energy that I have. If I'm having a bad day or something like that, or a down day, and I can get a bike ride in, or I can get down and get a workout in, that tends to flip my day. It's amazing what just like 20-25 minutes of exercise is able to do for a person, and just feeling that you're getting something done good for yourself. You feel a little tired, maybe a little sweaty, and your whole attitude just changes. Today, I wake up in the morning with a smile on my face. I go to bed with a smile on my face. I feel like I'm a positive member to society again. Everything from my attitude to my personality to my outlook to the energy that I have for my life. I don't know. I just hope it brings a productive, happy Tim. I just hope it brings something out that I've tried to live up to something that just wasn't real or real expectations. Now I've got a better foothold as I move forward, and I look for just be back to being productive in society. That's about it. So many times when you tell somebody that you're suicidal, they have kind of a sudden reaction, and there's a stigma that goes right with that mental illness. And quite a few people, and especially like my parents' age, they're not used to mental illness. I mean, the younger generations are becoming more and more familiar with it, but the older generations, they're just not really. You're just supposed to tough it up and push on through. And I think having a resource center for them to learn more about what mental illness is would be a great help. Is if the people behind you, your family, your friends, if they can understand what you're going through, they can help to pick you up when you're starting to backslide, and you may not even notice it, but they might notice it, and they can be the ones to step up and help getting you back on track. Don't be scared of admitting that you have a mental illness. It's more common than people realize in the world, and it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's a long battle, it's a long process, but if you reach out and catch it early enough before it gets too bad, you can hopefully avoid the pitfalls and the extra treatments that I've had to endure and the extra hospitalizations. Make that call sooner rather than later. That's the one thing I would say, is make that call sooner rather than later, and don't let the stigma of mental illness keep you hiding from it. You can beat this. If I can help one person, if one person gets a little comfort out of dealing with mental illness by hearing my story, that's all I needed.